This is Anthony R. Calvanico, a.k.a. Cal, the Mad Ranter, coming to you live from the Brooklyn side of the Verrazano Bridge. If you assholes that pronounce, the fuck is that? Fix your brakes, bro. For you assholes that pronounce it Verrazano, there is no N in there, it's Verrazano. Anyway, on to something more important. I spoke to a liberal, which is amazing because she actually was fairly cordial, wasn't attractive, which usually the case, wearing an Elmer J. Fudd hat, which is unattractive for Elmer J. Fudd, let alone a fucking woman wearing it. So I do go to the farmer's market. I love that food. Doesn't make me a liberal. That's why I fight with conservatives. Well, I am a conservative, but they're like, oh, you go to a farmer's market? What are you, a liberal? No, dickhead. I like the food. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Be better than that. So, start to get into it about Mamdani, and I love when they first ask, I wish you would stop calling him a communist. Well, I'll stop calling him a communist when you stop calling the president of the United States a fascist. Now, calling Zoran Mamdani, a communist is much more applicable as opposed to calling someone like President Trump a fascist, who just fights for anti-fascism, actually. So you can speak your mind, capitalism, etc. But let's not go down that path. We'll get to that as well down the road. Mamdani being a completely clueless, unqualified buffoon, I asked this liberal, if you had a company, would you hire somebody that had no experience in your field and never had a job? She said, no, absolutely not. And why the fuck would you vote somebody in to be the mayor, rather, of the largest city? I'm not going to say the greatest, and I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised. The largest city or one of the biggest hubs in the world. Makes no fucking sense. But yet they did it. So our answer was to, what the fuck is this people listen to on this motorcycle? They proceeded to say, or this woman proceeded to say, distracted here, this guy's an asshole, that let's see how he does. That's a real good fucking approach. So if I say, you know what, I could play for the Lakers, I could drop 25 points a game, and I have no experience in basketball, which I did play basketball, but I'm not tall enough, not good enough, not qualified or talented enough, you're going to say, well, you know what, let's see what happens. Let's sign him to a contract. That's a stupid mentality. Then I asked them, where's the money coming from? They say, well, from the billionaires. You're right. Okay, so you tax the big people make money. And I have a company. I'm a retired police officer, but I run my own business now. And I do okay. I'm not a billionaire. And I said, well, what happens when they leave? Well, they're not going to leave. You're right, dickhead. They're not going to leave. They're going to claim residency in another state. And as long as they claim residency and of 183 days or more, they'll stay in New York, bypass the loophole for paying those taxes. And guess who's going to get taxed? The upper middle class, myself. And then the middle class. It just goes down the chain. Because eventually the money runs out. And what happens when you have a fucking city-run grocery store, you're not going to be able to just make orders on the whim based on supply needs. Because there's protocol and bureaucracy. And anytime there's a municipality or a state or federal-run anything, it's so much fucking red tape because there's a bunch of assholes pushing papers and lazy fucks and nobody wants to do anything. Because there's no incentive. You follow? They don't care. They're getting a guaranteed check, so they just sit there and laugh, etc. All right? So when you have a city-run grocery store and you have that type of mentality or that type of approach, eventually you're going to have so many people going there because it's cheaper, right? It's cheaper. But then the supply will run out, which means food, right? Milk, eggs, cheese, whatever the fuck it is. It's food. And that'll run out. Then they'll start to tell you you're limited. They'll ration it. That's communism, dickheads. So don't tell me that Zoran Mamdani is a democratic socialist. And the fact that people are saying, please don't call him a communist, I wouldn't be too proud to call myself a democratic socialist. That's like saying, please call me a dickhead instead of fuckface. That's just the mentality. This is a guy that never had a job, went to Bowdoin College, extremely liberal arts, waste of money fucking school. His mother's a successful movie producer who made many movies, one of them Mississippi Marsala, that I never saw because I wanted to keep my man card. I would never go see that fucking movie, okay? And then a father who's a PhD at Columbia, and I stand corrected, wrote a book about how the people who bombed the World Trade Center aren't terrorists, right? So I asked this woman, did he ever have a job? She says, well, I don't know. The fact that you have to ask yourself and have to go look up if he ever had a job shows how fucking unqualified he is. She said, what about Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders is a fucking joke. He looks like a fucking pallbearer who never went to work. He couch surfed his whole life. I think he was a part-time carpenter. He's a loser. But we're the assholes because this guy became a millionaire without making more than $200,000 a year. So do the math on that. I can go on and on and on and on. And the bottom line is I will always fucking be able to debate somebody wearing an Elmer J. Fudd hat. Anyway, this is Anthony R. Calvanico, a.k.a. Cal the Mad Ranter. Peace.